What's up, everybody? This is John with iRacing, back with our second track tutorial video. This time we're going to be here at USA International Speedway. Before I get started, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Engine 4 Coffee Company. Engine 4 Coffee Company is a firefighter-owned coffee company that ships worldwide. Has a great variety of different types of coffee that are blended. He also does roast and everything. I just got my bag in today and it's fantastic. I will put a picture up here so you can see it, link in the description below. You can also use the code ENG4COF to get 10% off your next order. All right, with that said, let's jump into this track tutorial here at USA International Speedway. USA International Speedway, a lot of people love this track just because it's easier, I would say, of the other ones. However, with more people racing it, there's more competition and a lot more competitive drivers come out to race this track. So it is definitely tougher to get top split and also do well in top split. I don't do insanely well at this track. I mean, I can maybe finish top three in a good split most of the time. Uh, but there's a lot of guys out there that are a lot better than me at this track, and just practice it a lot more than I do. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and show the info. Right now we're sitting at 109 degrees. I think it was about 111 when we recorded this, so about similar. It's in Lakeland, Florida. Lakeland's pretty hot, so I assume that any track temperature is going to be pretty hot here. And remember, hotter track, slower times. So I also have the driving line on for us right here. Just so you can see, unlike Oxford, I actually stray off of this driving line a little bit more than I did at Oxford. I'll have this up just as a guide. However, I recommend practicing and driving maybe a few laps with the driving line and then start to break out of that and stop using the driving line. You'll find your times are a lot faster and you'll be a lot more competitive, knowing how to drive multiple lines and knowing what works for you instead of what iRacing is saying what works. So laps I got here, I believe my fastest was a 24.711 today. I think my fastest overall is a 24.65. I've seen people getting 24.5s before, which is insane. I can't touch that here. But anyways, if you kind of follow along here and work out some tweaks of your own, 7.711 is a great time. And that will net you near the top in just about all splits. So let's get right into it. This is coming out of the pits here for your qualifying lap. Going to shoot high, aim high. We're going to do the same thing for a hot lap. Stay high throughout the corner here. And when I'm coming out of here, I'm in third gear all the way around here. Thing about this track is you can shift to fourth gear, especially on this front straightaway. It's going to feel like you should. I've seen some guys do it, and they're successful at it. I've seen a lot of other people do it, and they're not successful at it. I am not that great at it. I feel like I lose about 2/10 almost every time I do shift, so I prefer not to. So I'm going to start high here. I want to try to get as much straightaway as possible coming out of here as fast as I can for this first lap for it to be a hot lap. So I'm in third gear right here. As you can hear when you go into the corner here, you're going to be hitting your rev limit, especially on that first lap. This is where I say some people shift only in qualifying. They will shift to fourth gear at this point here to try to get some extra time. However, I find that downshifting will lose you some time once you go in the corner, and also you don't have as much get up trying to get out of it. So I tend not to shift. The hard thing about this track is whenever you're going into these corners, that right front tire is going to dive down and you will hear it. It sounds like it's almost sliding. And that's where you're going to lose a lot of your tire wear for this track. Just like any other track with the rookies, you want to maintain your tires as much as possible. Here, it's really easy to burn them up, not because you're cranking on the wheel super hard, but mainly because when you're going in, people are going in too hot, too fast, and you're just sliding on that front tire. For qualifying here, it's not a huge deal. It can cost you some time if you're sliding around too much. But what I like to do when I'm coming into this first turn here, in the gas, and instead of just letting off the gas, I will come down with the throttle to about right there. Let me back that up just a little bit. to about 50% to 30% and kind of ride that into the corner. And this is helping slow the car down while still keeping some momentum. I'm going to play this back so you can hear it actually because it makes a little difference. So you can see like it just went down to 30% for just a little bit coming into it, and then we're all the way off. You can use some brake here. For qualifying, I try not to use much brake. For our race pace, you'll see I'll use a little bit of brake to try to save some tire, but for qualifying, I try not to. You want to keep that momentum going as much as you can. When you're diving in, well, let's start here first. I start letting off right about this light. You could probably wait just a little bit longer than I did and let off a little bit right at this light. And then when we're diving in, kind of aiming for this line right here. And we want to get these two left tires almost on this tape, pretty much on the tape too. If you can get it on the tape, you'll find you'll have some good speed there. I found my fastest lap is not where you hug the line coming around, or it's almost where you kiss the line coming down and come right back off into the straightaway. So hit this line, come down, left two tires can be right on top of this line, and then right about the center, a little bit less, we're starting to ease back into that throttle here. As we're coming around, we're going to straighten up, and we're aiming kind of towards the edge of this light here. You're going to feel like your car is going to slide up and hit this wall. If you practice enough, you'll get really good to where you can just throw your car up right beside it. You'll actually gain a little bit of time just by being able to get out of this corner a lot better. Kind of similar for this part too, but I want you to notice when you come through this one, it's not like you're just coming down the straightaway and you're diving in. I kind of like to edge off just a little bit. You can see this bump here. I kind of like to get over that hump first and then start to dive in. And it's the same thing. I'm going to kind of go off the throttle a little bit and then back all the way off. There is a line right here. This is my mark that I aim for. And it's going to do the same thing. Off the gas, right on top of the line. Start easing into the throttle. And then when I feel like the car is rotated enough, I can start straightening it up a little bit. Aim for the wall. Our car's a lot faster when our wheels are straight. So you want to try to keep the wheels straight as much as possible. And that lap there was a 24.711, which is not bad for a 111 degree track temp. I'm just going to run this through one time at full speed so you can get the gist of it. And that's our qualifying lap. All right, let's check out a race pace. All right, this is going to be our race pace for USA International. I got some other times, 7.766, 0.763. That's fine for a race pace, but it's not sustainable. This 0.834 right here is going to be a lot more sustainable for us. You can run, I think this is a 30 lap race. So you're going to find a lot of times some guys are going to try to jump out in front of you real early in the first 5 to 10 laps. That's great. I usually let them go. Have at it because the lap 20 is when it's really going to start to show who's saving tires and who's not saving tires. And if you can be pretty fast and save tires, you will finish at the front 95, 98% of the time. It's just the name of the game for these rookie classes. It's all about how you save tires and everything. And the same thing for qualifying. The main way you're going to burn them up here is not as much turning the wheel as much, but it's diving in so fast into this corner, it feels like the car is almost plowing into the corner. It's going to be wearing out that front right very rough, very much. So we're going to do the same thing here. And you notice this time I actually use a little bit of brake as I'm coming because I want to slow down the car just a little bit more. My main goal when I'm doing these races is I don't want this tape to pass this tachometer right here for the first 15 laps. Uh, it will eventually because your tires will wear no matter what. But if it does pass this, I don't want to be like full throttle 100% around the curve with this way past this 10 o'clock position here. So rule of thumb, I try to keep it tape past the tachometer here. Real easy into the corners, real easy out, easy off the throttle, easy on the throttle. This is kind of similar to qualifying. I'm going to go down to about half throttle, hold it a little less. I'm giving it a little bit of brake, and just easing the gas out of the corner here. And I want to try to straighten the wheel as much as I can. It's going to slide you right up to that wall. Let's look at that full speed. Same thing here. There's this hump right here that we talked about in qualifying. I would like to be kind of on the right side of this if I can. That way I can get a wider turn down into this corner. You don't want to be too far underneath this line and diving in because you're going to find yourself cutting that wheel too much. Your car is going to rotate. It feels like a lot slower, and you're going to be into the gas a lot later. So on three different accounts there, you're just going to be slower than other people. Yep, so same thing. We're going to come through here. I'm going to get off the throttle just a little bit, hold a little bit of throttle, a little bit of brake. My wheels turn past my tachometer here, but it's not like a terrible amount, and I'm easing back into the throttle as I'm trying to turn this wheel back to the right and straighten up. I think one thing that it took me a while to learn is how to not only drive a corner, but drive out of a corner. A lot of times people want to keep this thing locked down and keep on turning and keep on turning, but you got to realize that it's burning up tire when you do that. So the faster you get it straight, the faster you'll be. Straight tires are faster, and by turning this straight, we're getting more straightaway. Tires are saving. We're not burning off as much. Straighten it up. Get back towards the wall. And that's going to net us a 24.834, which you can pretty much maintain for 10 to 15 laps.